Am I the asshole for refusing to let my half sister see my, not her, mom before she dies and telling dad he'll have to explain why to her before he loses her too? Let's get into it. My dad cheated on my mom, and my half sister, 11, is the result of his cheating. When my mom found out, she left my dad and filed for divorce. It was a really difficult time because dad tried to get back with mom using me, and he expected them to raise the two of us together and we'd be one happy family where mom got left raising the affair baby as her own. Instead, he raised her on his own because her mom left her with my father once she was 2 months old. From the time she could talk, my dad was telling my half sister that my mom was her mom. He had her calling mom mama when she was learning how to talk. He'd talk about her like she was our mom and not my mom. Dad would punish me for telling him to stop. He told me she was my sister and I loved her, so I should want mom to love her too. And then we'd fight because I told him I didn't love her and he was making things so much harder for me. I hated being at dad's house because of his obsession with mom being my half sister's mom, which she is not. Things got worse when my half sister got older and she tried to seek my mom out. She wanted hugs and love, and my mom lost it with my dad a number of times because she didn't want anything to do with my half sister. And she was repulsed by the idea of my half sister calling her mama or mom. Eventually, my mom got primary custody of me, and I only had to go see my dad for a few hours a month. I could tell my half sister was confused by it all, but I never felt protective over her, and I never blamed my mom for wanting nothing to do with her. She made sure she saw her as little as possible so she wouldn't have her trying to interact or look for hugs and stuff. Things got worse 2 years ago when dad ended up in the hospital for over a month and a half and my sister went into foster care. Dad wanted my mom to take her and mom told him to fuck off. My half sister didn't understand why she wasn't with me and mom when dad was sick. It was a whole thing, and dad tried to make me responsible for my half sister, but I refused to be. Dad's health has never fully recovered, and I refused to help. And so did my mom. Now, my mom's terminally ill and spending her last weeks in the hospital, which is already freaking hard. But my dad told my half sister she could visit. But mom and me made sure they could get nowhere near mom. But that hasn't stopped dad from showing up with my half sister and her getting upset because she knows mom's dying. Mom wouldn't even know now, but I refuse to disrespect her like that. So I warned dad a couple of days ago that he'll lose her like he lost me if he doesn't find a way to tell her the truth and explain why she can't see my mom. He asked me why I have to be so hateful to her and why I couldn't allow her this one small thing. Then he brought up how his illness is still a thing and he could be dead before mom or even a year from now. And would I really want this to be how my half sister is treated? He tried to bring up what would happen to her, but I told him my only concern is my mom and he needs to do better. He said I was evil and my half sister never held any responsibility in any of this. And he continues to show up with her. Am I the asshole? Wow, there is a lot to unpack here. I am going to agree with one thing that your father has said, and that is that your half sister is the only innocent thing that came out of his infidelity on your mother. She didn't ask to be born. This is not her fault. At the same time, your father is a huge asshole. Why would he, one, try and tell your half sister that somebody was her mom who is not her mom? Why would you set up that child for heartbreak because she's not going to get the relationship from your mom that he's trying to make believe could happen? Or the fact that he thought he could shove his affair baby down her throat and get her to accept the child as her own is not only narcissistic, but it's just disgusting. The fact that he tries to use his health issue from a couple years ago saying, well, he could die at any time, when it is a known fact that your mother is terminally ill right now and only has weeks to live, is again him making about himself. I don't even think he's thinking about your little sister. This is about him. He is trying to force her down your throat and your mother's throat, but he's not getting his way. And when he doesn't get his way, he tries to use emotional blackmail on you. Now, Where you might be the asshole is saying that you have no love for your sister. I mean, truly, this isn't her fault. And even though your dad has done these things, it should not change that you are still her sister. Half or not, you're still her sister and he's not protecting her. So why don't you sit down and have a conversation with her? Again, age appropriate. She is 11 and destroying her life is not fair. But explaining to her calmly that yes, you are her sister and you love her, but your mom is not her mom. And let your dad have to deal with that. I don't think he's going to tell her because he's been lying to her for 11 years. So maybe it is time for you to stand up and at least give her the truth, but then be there for her and be understanding.